Think you need big bulky strobes to create great portraits and well-lit event coverage? Big lights have their place, but your humble little speedlight might be the unsung hero of your camera bag. Let's talk about it. A speedlight, a flash? I'll be using those terms interchangeably, so just know that they're the same thing. Strobes like this have their place, and I use this one here all the time for formals and portraits. There are times, though, when these little wonders are everything you need. They're portable, versatile, and can produce great quality light, especially in tight spaces and in fast-paced wedding environments. By the end of this video, you'll know why I think speedlights can sometimes rival strobes for functionality, and even when they might be the better choice. If you photograph weddings, you know how you can often be in a tight space during prep, and no one wants to be navigating around light stands when they're trying to get ready for the day ahead. As the photographer, you don't want to get in people's way. That's the videographer's job. I often have a single speedlight on a lightweight stand that I carry around for easily accessible and easy to maneuver off-camera light. Sometimes there's not enough room for even that, so I'll use on-camera flash and bounce it behind me or off to the side depending on the direction I want the light coming from. Even when I have space during prep, my preference is to use speedlights because they let you move around quickly and stay out of the way. A bare flash or appropriately modified one can create either soft light or hard light depending on how you're utilizing it. That versatility can give you results like the ones you're seeing here. Whether it's during prep, portraits, or other parts of the day, sometimes I'll use a bare flash and sometimes I'll modify it. For speedlights, I use a system of modifiers like spheres and grids and gels by Magmod. Full disclosure, they are not a sponsor. I paid for all that stuff myself. So when would I use a larger light like a strobe? Strobes are significantly more powerful than a speedlight. So if I need to repeatedly light up large groups of family portraits, or I need to overpower the sun for midday outdoor formals, this is the way to go. The batteries are much larger, so I can get through an entire session without having to worry about changing them out. And the recycle times are much quicker, so I can just fire away and this thing will keep up with me. This is why I use these larger, more powerful lights. My thought process about lighting in general is, what's the right tool for the job? Sometimes it requires that larger light, but sometimes all you need is something more compact. Here's a recent real-world example. Last week I had an engagement session inside the Smith College Botanical Greenhouse. Their annual bulb show is going on, and it attracts a fair number of visitors. The couple are members, so we were able to enter during pre-public hours, which meant it wasn't as full of visitors as it otherwise would have been. I've had sessions in there before, and it's very tight. Not only are the aisles narrow, but there are plants hanging from the ceiling, and the environment is just full. Bringing in a strobe with a softbox would have been intrusive and difficult to navigate in that space, so it was the perfect situation for using flash for off-camera lighting. I had an assistant carry a single flash on a lightweight stand and follow my directions for placement. I controlled the light output remotely from the flash I used as a transmitter attached to the camera's hot shoe. I used the sun as a backlight or rim light, and then dialed in the power I wanted from the off-camera flash lighting the couple. It was the perfect solution for portraits in this environment. When I started in this business, I admit that I really didn't know how to get the most out of speedlights. I would put it on ETTL and let technology be my friend and set everything for me. This worked, but eventually you reach a point where you want a specific look or effect or something more from your lighting than set it and forget it can provide. I started with one flash for each camera and then got another for off-camera lighting and modified it with an umbrella, which I already covered in another video. Eventually, after taking a couple of workshops, one on getting the most from on-camera light and another from off-camera light, I got more adept with it and started to use two off-camera lights for most of my setups. I found sometimes I wanted a third and, of course, an additional one for backup, so I have 6 speedlights with me at any given time. Here's another example. I was taking a wedding couple for nighttime portraits and wanted to be nimble. I keep my larger strobe set up and ready to go off to the side, but I would have had to bring it through the reception and navigate around people, so I thought it would be more of a hassle than it was worth. I knew what I wanted to do with this portrait, and for this one, I didn't need a big strobe. We walked just outside the venue onto a porch, and I put the couple into position. I set up a flash behind them, zoomed the flash head to its widest setting, and put an amber gel on it to light up the background. I handed my flash on a lightweight stand to my assistant, added a grid and round sphere for the front light, and used that. The wide amber light behind them lit up the architecture and leading lines, while the gridded softened light illuminated just the couple. 2 minutes and we were done. Earlier that same day during prep, I wanted to make a pre-ceremony portrait of the bride with her bridesmaids. Space was tight near the bridal suite, so I opted for something more intimate, keeping everyone close together. I used my light on a stand with a scoop modifier and made this. Shortly after the bride's veil was put on and she was admiring the results, and I moved the light off to the side for this candid shot. These are the kinds of things you learn how to do over the years, both in finding the right position for yourself and your off-camera light in relation to your subject, and also managing the technical aspects of lighting on the fly. I know I'm an outlier in this regard because I've asked many a photographer about it, but I'm one of those people who reads the manual. I don't necessarily commit its contents to memory, but I promise you that everything you need to know about how your flash works is in that little book. With modern flashes, you can manually zoom the internal flash head to focus the beam of light that comes out of it. This is especially useful when bouncing flash, as well as with off-camera flash. If you have to set it up further away and want that beam of light to hit the sweetheart table from across the room, zoom the flash head, throw a grid on it, and you might have just turned your flash into a spotlight. You also don't need a lot of flashes to light up a dance floor or reception. Usually I use 2 off-camera speedlights on larger stands, with my lightweight stand ready as a third if I'm going elsewhere in the room or need light coming from a different direction. I'll sometimes use my on-camera flash, which is also working as my off-camera transmitter, on lower power as fill. That's when you get light that looks like these examples. A couple more quick stories. When I'm setting up off-camera lights for a wedding reception, they cover the dance floor since that's where most of the action happens. Because I have a couple of lights locked down there, when things happen elsewhere in the room, that's why I have a flash on a lightweight stand I can carry around. Depending on the room, I might be able to bounce on-camera flash, but if a couple wants a nice portrait of themselves with a grandparent, for example, I want a more polished off-camera light. Also, impromptu group photos happen, and I'm able to capture those with a single flash and come up with results like this. And finally, sometimes you want to get a little fancy with these small lights. I had an idea for a portrait during this couple's backyard wedding. The bride had purple hair, and I wanted a largely monochromatic image with select spots of color. Not the old-school Photoshop spot color effect where one thing is in color and the rest of the image is black and white, but rather this be a full-color image where most of it goes black, leaving small areas of colored light. This would be done largely in camera and use post-production mostly to enhance the blacks and contrast. It was as much a challenge to myself as anything. I positioned the couple and put one flash on a stand behind the groom with a gel. I then had him hold a flash between himself and the bride, which illuminated the back of her hair and, as it turns out, provided a nice rim light. Because it had gotten a little chilly after the sun had set, you could see their breath, which glowed the color of the amber gel when I exposed the image. I was pretty happy with the results, and it shows that if you have a concept and experience with these small light sources, you can make something compelling without the need to overly manipulate either the light or the image itself. So what do you think? Have I given you any ideas or inspiration for using speedlights as your main light source? Did I pull off these images as well as I made it sound? If you have any thoughts about what I covered or tips of your own to share, sound off in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. I appreciate your spending a few minutes with me. If you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to see more videos like this, check out this other one I made for you. This is Ask a Wedding Photographer. I'm Seth K, and I'm here to help.